talk about Gary Russell comes out of nowhere and calls out Shakur Stevenson. Also give him some credit. It's almost been 2 full years since Gary Russell Jr. been in the ring. Also, on Twitter a couple weeks ago, probably not even a couple weeks ago, Shakur Stevenson showed love to his brother, 140-pound title contender Gary Russell. Said, he gave him some of the best work in the gym that he can remember. I'm paraphrasing a little bit. So they all familiar with each other. Gary Russell said that Shakur Stevenson is the best out of the youngins. I'm paraphrasing. He said he definitely could fight the best, but he said basically when he was at 26 and Shakur was at 26 and he was trying to line up Shakur Stevenson for a fight, Shakur Stevenson vacated the spot. I think 8 months after he won his title versus Joe Gonzalez, he moved on to 130 pounds. Like I said, man, Gary Russell, man, is my guy. I met him at the Barclays Center. Hell of a fighter, by the way. But, when I've been asking about him, when I've been asking about him, it's no activity, nothing lined up. He 35 years old. It's over with. Somebody telling me he basically a full-time trainer. You hear him talking about on social media that he moving up to 135 pounds. That dude is done. I don't know what he did to Al Heyman, or is it, his reluctance to move off, asking for welterweight money. People say behind the scenes he want a whole bunch of money to fight, and that's what you hear about him. Like, it wasn't Leo Santa Cruz's fault. He said this dude was asking for, a bunch of money, bro. Like, welterweight type of money just to fight some of these fights at 126. And at the end of the day, his choices kept him out the ring. His choices, made him inactive. And maybe it was some enabling by Al Heyman. And maybe he was pissing off Al Heyman and cussing out Mayweather and how he talked. But quite frankly, dude, it's like he pretty much did. That sound like it's self-inflicted. And I think his career is over with. He been out the ring since last January, I think it was. So January 2022. So we halfway through the year. So he been out the ring a year and a half. So he ain't fought this year yet. You think somebody that want to get their title back, want to get back on track, they'll take what they can get. But ain't no telling what these minimums and these contracts are. But you'll think he'd be trying to be the co-feature to Spencer Crawford. I know he probably think it's beneath him, but you got to understand how many great Olympians or great amateurs came out that year, bruh. It was him, Andrade, Terrence Crawford, Carl Dargins. I think Danny Garcia might have been in that class as well too, and there might have been a few others. It was a significant amount of them dudes that came out the amateurs, and Gary Russell was the most decorated one. Got sick at the Olympics, couldn't compete to medal, got injured or got sick or something. I think he got sick, couldn't compete. And then in the pros, he was very active to get his first title. He wasn't fighting nobodies, but he was active. He won, lost to Lomachenko, got a title, and just he came off as arrogant. You the most decorated guy coming in out the amateur system. Andrade was probably the second most decorated guy. Dargins probably wasn't too far behind as far as being decorated. And, all them guys was very, very talented. That's what kind of led to him and Terrence Crawford fighting. Carl Dargins was getting the best of Terrence Crawford and Jim, and Gary Russell said something, they got into it. And, Dargins was married to Lil Mo out of Philly, very talented fighter. I know he tried to make a comeback, and at the end of the day, I just let you know, man, when some of them dudes lost focus. Some of them dudes, Dargins lost focus. Andrade and Gary Russell had bad business. They felt entitled to something that they wasn't entitled to, if that make any fucking type of sense. They felt like they was royalty, and neither one of them meddled. And they went in having a certain expectation and having a certain height about them financially, and made a lot of bad fucking business decisions, and they ain't got nobody to blame but them. And that's what it is. And now, you know, you let Danny Garcia hawk their ass, and Danny Garcia did what he's supposed to do. You let two of the dudes who pretty much got it out the mud, Danny Garcia and Terrence Crawford, which people thought Terrence Crawford, political reasons, he had the talent, but look where he's from, and you know, and basically look at some of the stories of him being hot-headed in the amateur systems is politics. And Danny Garcia, which nobody really believed in the talent, was winning tournaments, didn't think he can go far, because if he did, he was signed with a big signing bonus. And them dudes made, you know, they started way behind the 8-ball. It's like Terrence Crawford's daughter losing her shoe and everybody getting a head start, and even a larger head start. And Danny and Terrence Crawford, credit to their teams, credit to their fathers, credit to their parents, credit to their business, you know, making the right business move. So sometimes having a head start ain't the best thing to do. Sometimes acting like you better than everybody else, being stuck up, it ain't, you miss out on a lot of opportunities. And Gary Russell was one of them dudes with Demetrius Andrade, who we had never see the best Andrade, we had never see the best Gary Russell, because they had a certain standard about themselves that they it wasn't high. They had a certain standard that was too high for them to, you know, for money to reach. Now, had they been Ukrainian, had they been, you know, a superstar out of the Europe like Amir Khan, or had they been some phenom out of the Philippines, had they been some big Asian or Japanese, Chinese, Korean star, or had they been some good old Billy Ho from white American superstar from you know, French Lick, Iowa, French Lick, Indiana, or Iowa, yeah, that'd be a superstar. But when you come into this game, this boxing game, as a black man, or from the motherland, the continent of Africa, you ain't entitled to nothing unless you Sugar Ray Leonard. And Sugar Ray Leonard was just an exception. Unless you Mike Tyson, that was the exception. So you ain't entitled to shit, and that's what they learned. You had a head start, and these guys have had. Danny Garcia arguably had a Hall of Fame career. Terrence Crawford had a Hall of Fame career. And that's what happened. Dargins, he just was fucking with the hoes. And, you know, was in a messed up marriage. You know? Very talented young guy. So for all three different reasons, you know, and Danny and Crawford, and maybe that's a blessing sometimes. You start in a certain position, you know, like everybody passing you by, and everybody doing this, and everybody having kids, and you know, everybody seem to be, you know, getting great jobs. But sometimes you kind of being a little bit backwards. You can see the mistakes they make. So when your time up to bat, you can win. But about Gary and Shakur had a silver medal, played it the right way, stayed working hard, wanted to be the best, and Top Rank, you know, seemed to have his best interests at hand. It was a blessing that Richardson signed the top. Well, it wasn't a blessing for Richard Hitchison, but it was a blessing for Richardson Hitchison to sign the Mayweather Promotions and Shakur to sign the Top Rank, and Mayweather not had the money. You know, sometimes, you know, even it seemed like you going down the wrong route, it could be the right route. But Shakur Stevenson so above, you know, Gary Russell. I mean, they couldn't make any of the other fights that you wanted to see. Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, etc. Gary Russell still with a Top Rank. I mean, Gary still without Heyman. They ain't gonna try to make that fight. And at this point, he inactive. He showed us another gear, being able to move his upper torso and survive versus Mayak. So he lost, but we all knew it was due to the shoulder injury. But at 35 years old, Shakur is like the old nickname they have for Karan Butler in the league. Tough juice. It ain't Gary Russell, can't do nothing with him. Maybe at 26 he could have had a chance. The dude was a little bit malnutrition at 126. A little bit, you know, when I say malnutrition, wasn't 100% healthy, filled out. Now this man looks explosive, look big, look ferocious at 135. He can't do nothing with Devin. He can't do nothing with Shakur. He 35 years old. You inactive. You was small at 26. You jumping up 2 weight classes. You definitely gonna be too small. Just retire and be a full-time, you know, fighter, or go to 130 and see if you can unify some titles and catch up and be considered a Hall of Famer. But right now, he considered a Hall of Shamer, underachiever. You know, somebody that had a lot of aspirations, but you know, the business side of boxing, I think a lot of people feel like he was to his own doing, but nobody know for sure why he fought once a year. You hear rumors about welterweight money. He can't do shit with Shakur Stevenson at 35. Devin Haney, Lomachenko, Jermaine Ortiz. Ain't shit he can do there. Al Heyman not gonna, stand up to bat. Al Heyman got 9,000. He got 400 and hundreds of other fighters that he more concerned about than Gary Russell and overpaying Gary Russell for a tune-up. It's as simple as that. So it ain't nothing that he can do with Shakur. Shakur will be doing him a favor by allowing him to get in the ring with Shakur Stevenson. He had his generation. He had his chance. Now, Terrence Crawford still running with the baton. Danny Garcia still running with that baton for that era. Andrade trying to make something happen, but for the most part, him and Andrade and Dargins and the rest of those guys that came out the era, they on the back burner. Crawford and Danny Garcia is the leaders of that era of boxing. Even though you thought you had 3 potential world champion superstar, pound for pound, 5'8", 5'9", in my blue blood voice, superstar, you know what I'm saying? You thought you had those type of guys there, but like I said, man, nobody can know what happened when you turn pro, when you don't have the structure of Team USA boxing, when you don't have no structure, and you got a couple dollars, and they give you a little bit of freedom, and women come into play. So Shakur Stevenson too much for Gary Russell, and I like Gary Russell, but he can't do shit with him. But hey, let me know what you girls and guys think. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance, get notifications. We go live or drop a video. Financially, want to support the channel? Cash App, $ CJ Good 313. Venmo, CJ Good 313. PayPal link in the description. Hit the link tree, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, the whole 9. Peace.